Hello guys, welcome back to Top Man Sid, and this is my second weekly episode show of my match reviews for Manchester United for this 2019 to 20 season. If you want to know my thoughts on the previous game, on the opening game of the season, Chelsea, click the link up there, or over that way, yes, that's the one. And yeah, where I just talk things all about my favourite football club, my support for Manchester United, but also trying to stay non-biased while I talk about my thoughts during the games, the players, the goals, all the key moments, and of course the other team as well and how they reacted to us as well. Of course, this game we went away for the first time, and it was against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And of course, as you know, they are a tough cookie to crack, especially for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because last season we actually lost twice to them in the span of 1 week. I think it was first in the FA Cup and then next in the Premier League, like 2-1 or something in both games or something like that. And so yeah, the Wolves, they have stepped up their game since coming back from the Championship a season or two ago, and they've got good players, man. And this arguably was gonna be a more difficult contest than Chelsea, especially when you consider it was away as well. And of course, the atmosphere is really electric. The away support for Manchester United, always good as always supportive, always cheering. But also, of course, the Molineux is a tough stadium to go to. All their fans are super fired up. Well, they should be, because they got a bloody good Portuguese agent giving them all their players. No, I'm joking. Yeah, but seriously, I would have taken a point if someone asked me if you would take a point in this stadium, especially when you got 3 points before for Chelsea. 4 points out of 6 I would have took. But of course, looking back now, it does feel like a missed opportunity, especially after when you consider the first half we had. It was just a calm, cool, collected performance from us in the first half. We had a game plan, and we did it, not to perfection, but of course Wolves are always going to be hard to break down, but we did that numerous times. And when they tried to get out of our box, when they tried to press through, they were unsure. We made them unsure on what to do, how to play the game. They were the midfield battle we handled pretty well, because I think they were too focused on Pogba again playing in a deeper position alongside McTominay. They were focusing on Pogba too much, the midfielders, and of course that allowed space for Daniel James, who made his full debut for Premier League for Manchester United in this game. Came on as a sub last game, gave the likes of Lingard, gave the likes of Martial and James space and time on the ball. Of course, Rashford as well. How can I forget about him? And of course, the interchange really factored well in, of course, the couple of chances that were being made. Of course, took us a while, took us 20 minutes or so to get into our footing. 1 or 2 shots going off the mark. One in which Rashford actually turns the left back right, or left back or what? Yeah, I think it was the right back inside out on the edge of the box, crosses it in. Martial just about couldn't get on the end of it, but of course, the second time they have the interchange, Rashford passes to Martial. Martial makes a nice, gets the space and is ruthless this time, and just clinical finish, and that's a second goal for Martial, matching Rashford's second goal. Of course, Solskjaer said in the coming week to this game, in the match build-up, that he wanted Rashford and Martial to start working together more and wanted them to get that synergy, if you know what I mean, and just start recognising each other's game plan. They're going to be playing a lot together this season, provided they don't get injured, heaven forbid, because we're lacking in a lot of depth, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, them two, we're relying on them to get goals. Of course, I said this in the last game. And if anything, from both of these games, I think they can perform in that sentiment, in that sense. Martial, he was frustrated before the end of the first half that he didn't even get more goals than that. And that's the kind of attitude we need. Like, even when we are winning, some of the players still feel that they could be doing more, and they're doing more, and they're working hard, and they're trying to pursue Ole's vision no matter what's going on. And I felt like we had a vision, and Ole's vision was coming right through in the first half, and it wasn't perfect, but it all looked like we were moving in the right direction, and that's what I want to see long term for Manchester United. And I think that's what Ole wants, and that's what Ole is implementing. I think he can do better than what other most managers have done post Fergie. But enough of that. We're just focusing on this match in particular. don't want to get ahead of ourselves, you see. Of course, some people after the Chelsea game was like, we're going to bloody win the league. You know what I mean? But yeah, Daniel James, debut, as I said before. And 5 minutes we've been talking, bloody hell. Yeah, Daniel James, of course, I was an interesting selection. I would have, if I was a manager, I would have just kept the same lineup that we did in the first game. But who am I to know? I'm just a young adult in my bedroom, just talking about my favorite club. But yeah, Daniel James, he does feel like a fan. You get that vibe off him, good vibes. He got his chance now to impress. Solskjaer decided to reward him and take off Pereira and replace him with Daniel James. And I think Daniel James was really good. It was really, really good, considering that he got booed for most of the game because he dived early in the game. And he was just injecting some pace throughout the whole of the game. Never looked like it was. He looked comfortable. He looked comfortable getting past the fullbacks. Of course, not everyone in Wolves is perfect player. Obviously, not. It's not like top 2 territory in terms of like their quality, but they're still good players. And considering he's come from the Championship and he's come to probably the biggest club in the world, it's pretty decent to be fair. He was getting past the defender, willing to put the crosses in, linking up well. Again, feeling comfortable. The new signings again, feeling comfortable as if they've been here for a while. That's what we like to see, and as well as the desire to implement the vision and implement some pace into the game. Of course, the only thing I would say that is a bit iffy with Daniel James in this game in particular. Of course, the dive he did. Of course, he's fast. He's subject to a lot of fouls last game and this game as well. And in preseason actually, he's naturally going to be fouled a lot. And of course, I think this time, he may have got caught out, may have exaggerated a bit, and got a yellow card, and he got booed for the rest of the game. But that didn't unwaver him. But a few times he did cross. I was good thing that he was willing to cross it in. Of course, first debut, some of the crosses didn't come off. But I like the idea of it, and if you can work on those crosses, who knows what you can do? Maybe you can assist some. Yeah, Rashford was good. Lingard providing the press. He's really good at that. He knows how to press. He's done it a lot. Even, excuse me, my nose is bloody killing me.
A few minutes later.
Sorry guys about that interruption. Yeah, I'm just recovering from a bit of a cold. It was very much worse on camera when I uploaded yesterday on my second channel, Top Man Sid, where I do all things gaming, FIFA, football chat, not football chats. This is the channel for football chats. Noob Nerd, yes, I was uploaded for Noob Nerd, my DVD collection. If you want to check out that channel where I talk all things films, nerd fandoms, all that good stuff, superheroes, comic books, I really appreciate it. Always an excuse for a plug. But yeah, where was I? So Lingard always ahead of the press. McTominay, a few sloppy passes here and there throughout the game, but positioning himself well, especially in the first half. Pogba didn't really have much to do, to be honest, but of course he was, as I said before, he was getting hunted down by the well-trained, well-drilled midfield. Probably a better midfield than us when you look at the squad depth. So yeah, but he was getting attracted by other players, of course, that left space for the other players. Our defense, Wan-Bissaka it's just standard, to be honest. I'm just watching Wan-Bissaka like, oh yeah, standard, just getting tackled again, blocking the ball, tackling the ball. Just, you can't get past him, mate. You shall not pass Wan-Bissaka, mate. It's just standard for him. It's really good to see. Maguire again felt comfortable. Lindelof making some great interceptions as well. Luke Shaw, first half, just with the team, to be honest. Second half, that's where it all started to get a bit iffy with Luke Shaw, but of course with the rest of the team as well. So yeah, 1-0. Good goal. Could have made use of more, but considering the circumstances, 1-0. We need to push on like we did against Chelsea and get more goals and try and kill this game off. But of course, we all knew what was going to happen. I saw someone on Twitter say they're going to put Adama Traore on and Luke Shaw's going to struggle. And I'm, of course, me being optimistic, but like, no. Hopefully that doesn't happen. And yeah, it did. Yeah, Wolves. We knew Wolves were going to come on to us. Solskjaer said himself, and we sort of dealt with it well. But in the crucial moments, they were more clinical in terms of the set pieces. I think we could have made use more of the set pieces in this game. We got so many corners in the second half, and all of them just couldn't get to anyone of substantial like attempt on goal. Like Maguire's there, Pogba's there, but they can't even get the head on it because the cross is on the best. Not just from Daniel James, but from the corner. But we've got so many corners, man. You got to get one attempt on goal, man. Not good enough in that respect. We need to do some training drills on that. I think that's been the problem for the past couple of years with Manchester United. Not enough good corners. Come on. I know in the modern game that's not really as... I don't think that's as common now, corner goals. But still, come on. We've got tall players. Let's make use of it. And Wolves made use of it. In the 55th minute, the momentum was coming. Every time Adama Traore got the ball, the crowd were getting gassed, mate. For good reason, because Luke Shaw just couldn't keep up with his pace. And... of course, McTominay would want to help him out, but of course that left space in the midfield. So that was a big problem, I think. I don't know if Dalot was on the subs bench. I should know this. But if Dalot was on the subs bench, it probably would have been a good idea to actually put him on instead of Luke Shaw, because he's got more pace and stuff like that. But I think, to be fair to Luke Shaw, you can't blame him. He's a good player. I don't think he's as bad as people say he is, but he's definitely a weak link when you compare the rest of the good defence, how good our other defence is, isn't it? And it's those small margins between quality that can make the difference in top 4 and top 6. So I can understand the frustration in that respect. It does feel like Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof and Maguire are on the same wavelength most of the time, and Luke Shaw's just a bit off. But of course, Adama Traore, his top heavy bloody body weight and pace was always going to prove a trouble for him and the other players as well. But it wasn't him directly that caused the goal. It was the corner that we failed to mark Ruben Neves in. Like, Ruben Neves is known for this kind of stuff, man. We conceded a long range goal before against Wolves in the Old Trafford for Matinho. I think it was Matinho that time, but of course we all know Ruben Neves. I've seen him play. I've seen him score against Liverpool in the FA Cup. He's known for this, and we should have at least had one person marking him directly. I don't understand how that's not a thing. Maybe he would have made left space in the corner, but come on, man, get one person on him. Jesus Christ, man. Like, once I saw Neves on it, 90%, 95%, he's going to score, and he did it, man. What a goal. De Gea got a slight fingertip to it, but it wasn't enough. Again, Neves got the sweet strike on it, and it was 1-1. And it was kind of deserved, considering the momentum they got. But we didn't. The heads weren't held down. The Manchester United players, I think they've again Ole's vision coming up again. I think maybe if I really feel like if our defense was the same as the one last season, I think we would probably just disintegrated. Yeah, but thankfully we have a good foundation to build upon. Oh, my mustache is but yeah, I really feel that way, and I think the confidence that those new signings build up, and the tactical system that Ole's making again. I think the players, of course, we weathered the storm a bit. We could see the goal, but we went again and we were gaining a bit of momentum. And I think that's what Solskjaer said for a bit. He didn't actually make that many subs until like right at the end of the game, which some people are a bit like confused about. And I can see their point. Who actually came on? I think Mata came on for Lingard. I think, yeah, during that time we were like we were regaining, I think, momentum. I think Lingard flunked the ball, got crossed in by James, or it was like a mini cross, and Lingard was like just inside the box, and he just failed to just hit it, and he just fluffed it, to be honest. Bounced in front of him and just like couldn't get a volley off or just anything. It was a bit embarrassing shot there, and of course if Lingard scores that, then all his pressing is not in vain. But of course, again, Lingard fails to make an impact, and of course people on Twitter are going to be like, "Oh, bloody hell, not enough goal contributions." And I can see their point. Again, small margins in quality that can make all the difference. And of course our midfield started to get stretched, and we started to get stretched a lot, but we could have been more clinical, especially of course the last shot of the game, Luke Shaw, of course. But you don't want him on the last kick. You want someone else on the like a Pogba type, or Rashford or Martial to be in the last kick of the game. But of course, I think Pogba made a good run into the box, earns a penalty. But I think really good. Wow, that could be such a good goal if Pogba scored that, man. But of course, it made sense. Wolves made a tactical foul in the box, but they conceded the penalty. And here I'm like, for some reason I just have a feeling that Pogba's going to take it. Of course, every time I've seen Pogba take a penalty, he usually scores it. I think the only time he's missed is when I'm not watching the game. So I was like, it's fine. Pogba wants, he earned it, he's going to take it. Of course, it would make sense more. I think Rashford is the better penalty taker. But Pogba takes it, and I understood why. And I was like, why not? Why is he not going to take it? Every time I watch him, he's going to score. But he didn't do his usual run-up, and he missed. We didn't miss it. He got a good, powerful strike on it. But Patricio judged right, and it was too close to him. So, a bit too close to him. No, it wasn't like, oh, such a crap penalty. Patricio made a good save. And of course, all the bloody hell. Of course, this is 24 hours later since the match. Maybe I should do these match reviews a bit soon after the match ends, but 24 hours, it just gives me time to think things through about my opinions, and of course assess. I like assessing opinions outside my own, like on Twitter, and like the reaction to everything. I just like talking about that kind of stuff as well. Let me know your feedback down below, what you want me to do with that, because just like I want to address like so much reaction to Pogba's miss, and as I suspected, every time I see Pogba score do a penalty, I'm like, if he misses, the media are just going to be all over him. But especially considering the case that Rashford scored the first penalty of the season in the last game, and of course we've seen him do emphatically well. I think Rashford is the better penalty taker, but of course Pogba's taken more. So it's not like Pogba just came out of nowhere and it's like, I'm gonna take it because I earned it. It's like he's a penalty taker as well. Like he's been taking penalties for us for a long time, quite a while actually. But of course I think people are confused of why there should be two penalty takers. I don't mind that, but maybe for everyone's sake, get one penalty taker, because everyone's going mental over it. But apparently Gary Neville was going fuming over it, apparently. And of course some people were just stupid enough to make racist comments about it. Just like, chill out, it's not that deep, man. Of course, you could say that cost us the 2 extra points. But no, it's the performance throughout the whole game that cost the points. We still had like 10 or 15 minutes left. Why not score then with Manchester United, eh? But of course, that was a big moment in the match. And of course, if we miss that, that's more likely that we're gonna lose out. But it happens in football. We'll see what happens next. I think, again, as Rashford said, if Pogba gets the next penalty, he'll probably score it anyway. I was disappointed, but let's just say I wasn't as angry as some people, mate. It's just like I think some people just using it as an excuse just to keep on just firing shots at Pogba for some reason. There's an agenda on him, as I've said before. But enough on that, that's a whole different conversation. What else should we talk about? No, I think that's pretty much everything I need to talk about, to be honest. Yeah, to be fair, looking back on it, of course, I was majorly disappointed yesterday. Not majorly disappointed, more disappointed, of course, when you have 24 hours to assess what's going on. I'm more calm about it. 4 points out of 6. I'd rather draw against Wolves knowing that we could have won the game with that penalty, rather than like draw the game and be like, oh, we got away with one there. We just about got the draw. It wasn't like that whatsoever. I think based on both performances from both teams, I think it was a reasonable result to have, and it wasn't like unfair to anyone. Like, it wasn't like, oh man, you didn't deserve it, Wolves didn't deserve it. I think the fair result was 1-1. But of course, I'm a fan obviously of Man United. I want us to gain those 2 extra points that could prove greatly by the end of the season. But considering our position, we're fighting for top 4 realistically. We're 4th now. We could have been top of the league if we won that game. But it was always going to be a hard game. Considering the fact that we were actually quite close to winning the game, and we could have won the game if we were more clinical. And some players were more clinical. Some players were a bit better at crossing the ball, not just from corners, but from other positions as well. Maybe it could have been a different result. But to be fair to Wolves, they came back, and I think we suppressed them for greatly in the first half. The second half, we fell into their hands just a bit. But we didn't totally collapse as we would have done if we had some players were playing like they did last season. Not to mention names. It's just the fact that I think our squad depth needs a bit of work, and bringing Greenwood on in the last 5 minutes, is that really going to make a difference? Probably not. But it makes sense. 17 is young. Juan Mata coming on, bringing a little bit of experience, but I do feel like Daniel James can be better as an impact sub. But he felt really comfortable in this game, so maybe that'll give him confidence for the next few games. Maybe he can kick on. I feel like we do have a right hand side. It's just the problem is that left hand side that really got exposed a bit with Adama Traore, with Luke Shaw. But Luke Shaw, of course, everyone wants to get fitter. Everyone gets to get more games in, more legs. Just getting more experience to the system that Ole wants to play. And I do feel like we're pulling in the same direction for once. I'm not feeling like, it's not like a draw like last season where it's like, we just played badly and got a draw. It's like, here we go again. It just feels like, okay, 4 points out of 6. We kick on to the next game against Crystal Palace where we should be able to win. And if we win that, then this will be long forgotten, hopefully. 7 points out of 9. But of course, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We just kick on to the next game and just try and rectify the mistakes and be more clinical on goal. And maybe Solskjaer can work on what kind of team he wants to make. Of course, we're not making as many changes as we used to do previous managers. We feel like we have a proper team to go forward with, and we know where we kind of need to improve. Hopefully the board can help sustain that with a new midfielder, maybe an extra left back. But that's thinking long term. I like to think long term. And yeah, we do, maybe Alexis Sanchez could have been useful in the subs, but he's gonna leave soon. I think maybe on loan, maybe permanent, who knows. If he's going on loan to Inter Milan and we're paying most of his wages, why not just keep him in the club? You know what I mean? Just one last chance to provide some attacking depth, just in case something bad happens, you know what I mean? Injuries or substitutes as we need, because I think Daniel James is probably our best substitute in terms of like, I'm only basing it off 2 games. It's only 2 games, still early doors. But yeah, I don't know. Was Dalla even? I think Dalla was on the subs bench. We could have played him as a left back, but it would have felt weird. It would have derailed Luke Shaw's confidence. It'll give us some more fitness. Fucking, excuse my language, chasing bloody Traore. Bloody hell, he's a bloody beast. But yeah, I think maybe the subs could have been a bit earlier, but I don't think it would have made much of a difference, to be honest. I think because our subs probably aren't the best in terms of attacking depth, as I said. But yeah, enough of me talking. If you've made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate the support. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell for more videos like this. Next week will be the Crystal Palace reaction, and maybe in between I might introduce a few more series, not just a Man U talk show, maybe more gaming and stuff like that, and FIFA talk as well, as FIFA 20 is getting closer and closer, as well as PES as well. Who knows? So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.